Welcome back to my predictions. This is we're gonna do a quick little recap of how the group stage for EU Open 1 for the Birmingham Major went out. Over here on the left, you can see what this is the actual bracket. This is what really happened, and then over here on the right are going to be my predictions from yesterday, and we can see where I went right, where I went wrong, and we can see I got the Carmine, I got the KC going all the way, qualifying as the 1 seed. I got that right. I got Gentlemates qualifying right, but I had them qualifying out of lowers, and they ended up going all the way through uppers. And then GK ended up, I had them, I thought they were going to qualify through the upper bracket. This GK roster is your roster of, that's Archie, Joyo, and Oli, and I really thought that they could pull that out. I was really hoping that they could pull that off, and I was wrong. I can admit when I was wrong, and who I was really wrong about is this Save the Game roster and 100%. 100% beat Synergy. I had them dropping down to the lowers in round 1, but they beat Synergy and then lost to KC in a close 3-2, and then they made the lower bracket run that they needed and eventually beat GK in the lower bracket final to clinch the 3 seed instead of the 4 seed. So I had the read on this 100% team extremely wrong, but that's kind of what happens. I'm not an expert. It's all predictions. It's all about who shows up on this day. And so there's my prediction for who was going to come out of Group A was Carmine, GK, Gentlemates, and Save the Game. Save the Game let me down real early, but they did run into 100%, who is the team that qualified over them. So I'm going to say 3 out of 4 teams isn't awful. Not a bad prediction by any means, but that's how it shook out. And if we scroll over to Group B real quick, this group, I'm a lot happier about this group, just me personally. So the NIP 3-0 called that perfect. Vitality 3-0 over Redemption called that perfect. I was not expecting Novo to put up the fight that they did, but they showed up, forced a Game 5. Stormtroopers, who, I mentioned it in the episode yesterday, this is the new Dignitas roster. Dignitas announced them like an hour before this event started. So Stormtroopers is now Dignitas, and that's apparently Jack, Jory and Stizzy, with Violent Panda being their coach. I thought they were going to shut them out. Novo put up a big fight, forced a Game 5, but Dignitas or Stormtroopers does come out on top. And then the RRG ended up going 3-2. I had it as a 3-1. We'll roll with it from there. Ascend stunned me. I had Ascend getting double rounded, going out 0-2. Ascend shows up 3-0's Redemption, and so that kind of throws my bracket out of whack for a little bit. And then I did call the Caliente 3-0 over Novo. And then if we go back up into the upper semifinals, I had Vitality winning. I thought NIP would at least take a game, and they didn't. So that's a little disheartening, but I did get the call right. Vitality 3-0 there. Dignitas 3-2 RRG. That was a little closer than I thought it was going to be. But again, it's who shows up on the day. It's how you play in the game. And those close matches unexpectedly are going to happen. And then we head into the lower semis. So we have NIP drop down, RRG drop down. And I called a 3-0 over Caliente for NIP. They 3-1, so I still get the team right. RRG, I thought they were going to shut out Redemption. Turns out they played Ascend, and Ascend took a game off of RRG. But they end up moving on. And then for our finals, in our lower bracket, I had NIP 3-1ing RRG. NIP swept them, so good for that. I did call this the qualifying teams perfect in that sense of NIP being the 3 seed, RRG being the 4 seed. And then for our 1 and 2 seed, I thought it was going to go to 5. It only took 4 for Vitality to take the 1 seed coming out of Group B. So what does that do for us? That sends us to our playoff picture, which looks a little bit like this, if I can get it pulled up correctly. So here is and I just want to double check. I want to make sure I'm looking at the right thing. Those are the right seedings. Okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to get this out of the way. Oh, there's a dog. Come on with it. What happens if I do this? Not what I... Wrong program. What happens if I do this? I am... Oh, there we go. Now we're cooking. Give me just a second. You would think that I know what I'm doing, but here we are. Enjoy that dog. All right, here we go. So here's our playoff picture. This is a Australian Football League format, and so our top 4 teams start out with a second life. If they lose, they're not done. But after this round, it's one and done. All of these are going to be best of 7s. And so after today, I'll start with lower round 1, and then we'll work our way through. After today, I am going to say it's a little difficult to pick against 100%. They looked very, very good. Again, just going back up here, looking at the teams that they played against, like they looked phenomenal. They beat Save the Game, who I thought was going to make a big run. They ended up beating GK, who again, I thought was going to make a run. I thought they were going to come out of uppers. And so 100% versus RRG, who I called from the beginning being a 4 seed. I think it's going to be a good game, but I am going to give it the edge to 100%. I think RRG can take a game or 2. I'll probably give them 2 here just to be safe, but I do think RRG go home. They're going to drop into this 7th, 8th slot. And who is going to join them? Who goes home in this? As much as I hate it, it's going to be GK. GK is going to go home. Do I think Archie, Joyo, and Oli take a few games off of NIP? I'm going to give them 1. Just 1 total for the series. GK go out, RRG go out. They are your 7th and 8th place teams for this first Open. But so not a bad showing. Carmine versus Dignitas up here in the upper quarterfinals. Again, these teams, they can lose. That doesn't mean that they're out. And so I think these teams are going to go, let's say, Carmine's definitely going to take the win here for me. How many wins do I think Dig are going to take off of them? Dignitas they were shaky in a lot of their games today. Like if we scroll back up, Novo, I feel like that should not have been that close. RRG should not have been that close. They did take a game off Vitality, but they just kind of looked outclassed. They looked really slow today. Do I think that they can pick it up? Yes, but against a team like Carmine who went on an absolute tear today, it's got to be Carmine. Oh, not 44. Let's just say 4. Not 44 wins. It's going to be Carmine. I think Dignitas could, based on what I saw today, watching the games, I think Dignitas might take a game. But so Dignitas will drop down, and then our other matchup, Gentlemates versus Vitality. Gentlemates did look good. They played some difficult teams. They could not hold their own against Carmine, but again, they held their own against GK, who did qualify for top 8. But I do think Vitality, you got Monkey Moon in a playoff. I think he's going to show up. Monkey Moon and Exotic and Zen. I think they're going to be too much for Gentlemates. But I do think that this one is going to be closer. If I had to, this is kind of a heart pick here. I would love to see a Game 7. So I'm going to call a Game 7. Vitality win. Gentlemates drop down and play NIP. We saw that play out already. Correct? Or I'm tweaking. Yes. Good to know. They weren't even in the same group. Gentlemates versus NIP. I think I have to give that to NIP. Again, I think I would hate for Gentlemates to go out losing 2 Game 7s. But do I think Gentlemates could definitely do it? Speaking of, quick little side note, Gotaga was streaming the matches for Gentlemates. The French fan base is insane. I am so, Gotaga was sitting there with 40K viewers on his watch party or something today on Twitch. It was insane. Something I love to see for the scene. The French esports fans show out. They show out for Rocket League. And then the only other esport that I really follow is Call of Duty. And Gentlemates just picked up a roster over there. And they show out for them also. And so I think that's super cool. But I don't think that the pink suit, I don't think that the pink wall is going to be enough to overcome the Ninjas in Pajamas. I'm going to say 4-2. I think they get it done in 6. Dignitas versus 100%. I picked against 100%. the entirety of my group stage predictions, and it kind of bit me. So why not keep it going? Dignitas 4-2. And then we get back here, Vitality versus Dig. We get a little rematch here. Correct? No, I am tweaking. No, we do get a rematch. Okay. Vitality versus Stormtroopers. I think it's going to be more of the same. I think Vitality is going to win it. I do think, man, NIP has so much potential. They did get kind of... No, they didn't play. Ow. NIP has so much potential. Running into a team like Carmine, I do think that they'll show up. Again, this is kind of a heart pick more than a brain pick. Ninjas in Pajamas, I think they'll take it. I think it's going to be an extremely close one. I didn't even put games down here for Dignitas because I was looking forward to that. Dignitas, they might get 2. Part of me wants to just say 1. They might get 2. And then if we go Vitality versus Ninjas in Pajamas, this is where I would love NIP to bounce back, show that they are meant to be one of the top teams in Europe. They have an incredible roster, which Vitality does as well. But I just think that just the skill level of Nas is incredible. Itachi is such a good glue man for this team. And then you got Big Oscar. I'm a huge Oski fan after getting to see him at Worlds, getting to see like what he can do. He was also part of an Oxygen team, and Oxygen's an org that I really enjoyed having in the esport. Again, a little bit more of a heart pick, but I do really believe that Ninjas in Pajamas can pull this off. I'm going to give it a 4. They're going to get it done in 6. 4-2. Ninjas in Pajamas are going to win the first Open, in my opinion, but we'll have to see what happens. I know that they had a kind of a rough run up here in their group, but they did close out well. Once they dropped down, like they 3-0'd, and then they got 3-0'd, but then when they dropped down and played these teams down here in the lowers, they took care of business, they did what they needed to do, and they moved on. And I think that they could bounce back this weekend, and I think we can get a Ninjas in Pajamas as our Open, Regional 1, Open 1 champions for EU this season. So I'm going to call it Ninjas in Pajamas wins the first event. This is my bracket. Let me know what you think. If you agree, let me know. If you don't agree, let me know why. But if you're watching this, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And we will hopefully be back. Staviru is... he is occupied right now, so he wasn't able to do these predictions with me like we normally do. But again, if you're here, I just want to say thank you. And until the next prediction, which we're getting ready, NA kicks off next week. So from here on out, it should be just a constant every week. 1 week's EU, 1 week's NA. I would love to do the minor regions at one point. I just don't know enough about the minor regions outside of the major teams. Like, of course, your MENA region is going to be Falcons, Twisted Minds. Your SAM is going to be Furia and Team Secret. Like, those are just going to be your teams, and I just feel like it'd be kind of running around picking the exact same 2 teams to get into every final, and that's just not super enjoyable to me. I do think the major regions have a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? There's more competition in those regions. It's not so one-sided, and we'll see. NA got some import teams, but we'll talk about that later. But for now, NIP is going to be your Open 1 champs for EU this 25 RLCS season. If you agree, let me know. If you don't agree, let me know, and let me know why. But until next time, take care of yourself. The world's better with you in it, and I'm thankful that you're here. And until next time, we'll see you then. Goodbye.